Thing that I'll be discussing. The third point is effective storytelling. If you could be immersed in here, is a story is about impact to make your presentation very crisp, very interesting. I'll share some of the tips. And throughout my presentation, I will be talking about some of the case studies of Indian startups, of some of the successful Indian startup companies that have grown very big. I will start my discussion with a company called Zoom, which is a car rental company. And then I speak about for Blanco, Big Basket, Blue Arbor. There's a company called PSafe, Buttocks, Join My Wedding, Byju's, and Cred. So these are some of the successful startups in Indian markets. And what lessons can we learn from these young companies, young but fast-growing companies? So the first question, what is pitching, right? If you ask me, pitching is nothing but making people buy your dream. So you are an entrepreneur or you are a manager in a new company, and when you have an idea, your challenge is to make sure that people believe in your idea, right? So you have a dream, you have a dream which you want to make sure that people understand and people believe in your idea. Or buy your dream. So technically, pitching is nothing but an opportunity to introduce your idea to investors, customers, or employees, right? It is an opportunity for you to. There are a few more people joining. I just admit. So it is an opportunity to introduce your world to the your idea to the world, and whom exactly are you targeting? Investors, customers, or employees. Now the challenge is in any pitching session, you will not get a lot of time to present your idea, right? They will say 5 minutes, 10 minutes. In all the pitching sessions that I attend, each entrepreneur is given only 10 minutes. 10 minutes plus 5 minutes, 10 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for question and answers. So you only have 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, you have to communicate your idea effectively, and you have to make sure that you win the confidence of investors or customers or employees. So that becomes critical. So the challenge is there is a time constraint. Now, why do you pitch? You pitch because you need to gain investor or customers' confidence. You may need investment from investors to grow, or maybe you want your customers to buy your product such that your company grows. Or maybe, as I said earlier, you want talented employees to come and join you, right? So, to address different stakeholders is the reason why you pitch. Now, pitching is one thing, but also understand in seminar. So let us also understand how you propose a boyfriend or girlfriend, right? What are some of the things that you do to attract them? The first and foremost thing that you will do is you will understand her well, her family background, likes and dislikes, right? So you need to make research basically. You need to understand the boy or girl before you propose. It is not possible, you cannot go to a boy or girl and say, can you marry? That doesn't work, right? The boy or girl may not accept your proposal. So research is critical, and you have to understand who are the decision makers. For example, parents are the decision makers, so you need to know your decision makers very well. You need to understand. Then what you will do when you are proposing a girl, what you will do, you will talk about yourself and why you are a better candidate. So that is synergy, right? You will talk about why, what are your strengths and why you are the perfect fit. All these things you will try to slightly boost yourself and communicate and say I am the best. So same thing startups should also do, and then you will build trust. You will have to create the rapport. You will have to make sure that they understand you and they like you and they admire you. All these things should happen. The last point is pitching, right? In the end, you go and propose. Day one, when you see a boy or girl, you don't go right up and say, I want to marry you, will you marry me? That doesn't work, right? You take time, read research, understand the decision makers, so find out the synergy and why you are a better candidate, build a rapport, and then propose, and then communicate. Once you do all these things maybe for some time, and then in the end you go and say, I want to marry you, chances of they saying yes is very high, right? The same principles you need to apply when you are pitching about your business idea. We are here who love means first. Moving on, what are the components of a good pitch? I generally recommend a 8-slide formula. All you need to do is you need to prepare 8 slides. Within these 8 slides, you can effectively communicate your business idea. In the sense, as I told you, you only have 10 minutes. You don't have much time, you only have 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes, I believe using these 8 slides will do the trick. Now in the first slide, what we will talk about is we will talk about the pain point that you are trying to solve as an entrepreneur. Okay, now you want to start a business, you are an entrepreneur. The first question is, okay, what customer problem are you trying to solve? Right? For example, previously a couple of times when I was in Indonesia, the problem that Gojek or Grab is trying to solve is transportation, right? So you can send parcels from one place to another place, or you can order food. So customers, without these things, they may have problems in terms of they themselves should go and get it. But with Gojek or Grab, life is easy. So Gojek and Grab has solved customer problem, a customer pain point. So in this slide, you have to explain what is the problem, what customer problem are you trying to solve. Now the second one is very important. You need to talk about total addressable market, right? I'll explain this in my next slide. The third slide that you will talk about is product or solution to the problem that you are trying to solve. The underlying magic of your product, I'll give examples to these things. Competition metrics, the team that you have built, financials and projections, investment thesis and risk factors. So 8 simple slides you will have to talk, use, and then your pitch will be effective. Now the first slide, pain point being used. I gave you an example of how Gojek and Grab in Indonesia, in Jakarta, how they have solved a customer problem. So similar thing you will have to do here. What customer problem are you trying to solve? Is it a relevant problem? There are few people who are trying to join. Let me admit that. Okay. So the first question is what customer problem are you trying to solve? And the second most important question is it a relevant problem? We must understand that not all problems are very much important to be solved in a big scale, right? There may be many problems, but an entrepreneur or a businessman should understand is it really going to help if you solve this? Point one. Point two is even if you solve, will your business be able to grow in a large scale? So this is the most important thing that you have to understand. Now, to give you some examples of a few of the Indian startups, there is this company called Big Basket. What they do is basically they have solved the problem of delivering vegetables, fresh vegetables, directly from farmers to customers. What was the problem here? The problem was Indian customers wanted fresh, very fresh vegetables, but it was not available. If you go to, I mean, they have to step out of their house, they have to go to the market, and they have to search for fresh vegetables, and only then they are able to buy. So this company, they said, okay, we are trying to solve this problem. So Big Basket, what do they do? This is the Indian startup. They pick up the vegetables right from farm and then deliver it to customers. So that is the problem that they are trying to solve. So there is another company called Join My Wedding, which I have mentioned here. Join My Wedding. It's a very interesting startup in India. What they do is they sell tickets for Indian marriages so that the foreign tourists can attend big fat Indian marriages. So the customers would get to witness the Indian culture, the kind of marriage. So all these things are a big advantage. Suppose let us say you want to visit India next time, and suppose let us also say that you want to attend any marriages and see the cultural aspects of it. You can approach this company and they'll make sure you attend the weddings. Next, moving on, the second slide that we will talk about is total addressable market. Now, let us think like this. Okay, so you have understood what is the problem and you have figured out what customer problem are we trying to solve. That is the first step, first slide, fantastic. Now the second question is, you need to know how big is this market, right? There is a problem, alright, but is the market big enough for you to start a business? Now, a very big Indian company, an Indian startup, which is called Byju's, which has now collaborated with Disney from US. Let me explain you how this company, Byju's, has done this calculation for total addressable market. They started with population of India, right? That is 1.34 billion. This is the Indian population. They have also selected top 10 cities, right? See, you cannot sell your product or service to everybody here, right? There may be a lot of customers who may not buy your product. So then they reduced it, they filtered using top 10 cities, and then they also filtered with the criteria saying household income above 14K per month USD. They have also been filtered out. Below that, they have been filtered out. And then they have put a criteria for age group, right? 22, 20, 34. This is the age group who they will buy the product. And then the another filter that they have used is graduate and English speaking population. Not everybody speaks English in India, right? So it means Byju's cannot sell because all their products and services are in English. It's a learning app, India's number one learning app, but they have only the content is only available in English. So this is the criteria, and then the last filter that they used is willingness for higher education. Right? This is the segment which is ready to spend money and buy a product or service to buy this product, right? So this is the market, and with this market, they have used the average annual revenue per student is $2,300 into 2 million. We give them 5 billion worth of market. So the market size here is 5 billion US dollar. So this is how Byju's as a company estimates the total addressable market, right? So the first question was, what problem are you trying to solve? What customer problem are you trying to solve? The second slide or second step is to understand how big is the market. If the market is very big, then you enter. If the market is too small, it doesn't make any sense for you to start the business. Now the third slide. The third slide is, I would like to explain with an example. Is the company called Blue, right? Now, what is the solution or the product that you are trying to provide for the question that what customer problem are you trying to solve? So you now know the problem. What is the solution that you are trying to offer? Now look at how interestingly this company called Blue Organ has structured their product. India's climatic condition mostly hot, right? And peak summer it is very hot here. There are 120 million plus motorbike riders in India. So it means this is the total addressable market. This is the problem. This is the problem. This is the total addressable market, TAM, total addressable market. And now the customer problem, right? Exposure to hot and dusty conditions during commuting on bikes. Now comes the solution, right? What this company has done is they have figured which is detachable helmet AC, right? So if you can see here, there is a small device which can be detached. It's kind of a retrofit where if you can attach this to any helmet and it provides you cooling, which is just like a car, right? So it provides cooling, which is automatic, and it outdoor protection from dust and defogging. So this is the product which this company has come out with. So this is the solution that they are offering. This is the product that they are offering to the problems which are explained here, right? Exposure to hot and dusty conditions during commuting on bike. So this has to be presented very clearly, very effectively. You should say, this is the problem, this is the total market size, and this is my solution. These 3 points are very critical. If you are not able to communicate this very clearly, the investors and customers will not come to you. So you have to be very careful. Next, okay, now you have offered the solution, fine, fair enough. What is the magic that your product will do? That becomes very much more important, right? Now what you have to do is, you have already explained the basic features, detachable helmet AC, cargo comfort, these things are okay. These are basic features of the product. But now you will surprise your customers or investors, and you will say these are the additional features which can do the magic. So this product, this company, what it says is, it says you can listen to music, you can attend phone calls when you are using this device. It helps you in navigation. You can text send a WhatsApp message. You can also get location alert, and you can do triggered voice notes. Right? All these features, right? Basic features and advanced features are there in the product. So such features generally, you know, attract the customers a lot, and further it attract the investors. So this is the underlying message. Uh, Now then, may I request you all to mute yourself? There is some background noise. May I request all of you to mute yourself, please?
All the students to please mute your microphone so that the class is uninterrupted. Thank you.
Okay. So in the fifth slide, what you will mention is you will mention the competition metrics, right? What is competition metrics? Here you will talk about why your product or service is better than your competitor's product and service. So for example, here I have taken three products, which is the first product is SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, and Typeform. I believe all of you have used Google Form, which allows you to conduct online surveys, right? So if I am working for, if I am an entrepreneur in Typeform, this is a company called Typeform, I will showcase to the customers and investors, and I tell them that my product is better than these two companies. For example, unlimited number of surveys. SurveyMonkey allows, Google Form will not allow, but I allow. The biggest advantage with Typeform is here. Response limits 100 per survey, 100 per survey. Here I have 2 lakh per survey. Right? So this is my advantage, and as you can see, these are the green color tick marks, which indicate that this company's product is better than these two companies. So this is called competition metrics. Here you have to say, okay, I have a solution, and why my solution is better than my competitor's solution. That becomes very much important. Now this is sixth slide. You will say, who are the decision makers? And who are the key management personnel that decide in take decisions in your company? Why have you hired them? Basically, you have to talk about your team members here. Why did you hire them? Do they have technical skills, or do they have business skills? What exactly was the reason? What expertise do they have? And more importantly, now you have to also mention what percentage of equity stake or ownership stake that you have given them in your company. That becomes very much important. And if in case you have given any ESOPs, ESOPs stands for Employee Stock Option Plans. It means instead of only giving salary to employees, a lot of Indian companies what they do is they give a small percentage of ownership as and when they perform well. So if you have given the ESOPs, the Employee Stock Option Plans, then you have to also explain how will these employees exit if they want to exit. So in your sixth slide, basically you will discuss everything about your team and why it is important for you to have them on board. In the seventh slide, we also discuss about financials and growth projections. Now here you have to carefully explain your audience, that is investors, how much capital are you seeking, how much money do you think you need. The second point is your budget and expenses. Suppose an investor comes in Mm. And you are asking him 2 crores and 2 million and he gave you 2 million. How will you, spend
It's
this 2
12
million? A
hours.
complete budget with a plan should be submitted. Then, if there are any past revenue that also needs to be presented to the investors. Then, more importantly, you have to also explain milestone-based funding requirements. Okay, first I will acquire 5,000 customers. After that, I again need money to acquire another 20,000 customers. So you have to clearly explain, the milestones and the funding requirement for each of those milestones once you achieve it. The last point here is quarterly and yearly revenue forecast. So what will be your revenue in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years? A small word of caution: do not go for forecasting for 5 years or 10 years. Simply because this is a startup, you can never say what will happen after 5 or 10 years. So what I suggest is next 3 months revenue forecast becomes very important. Now the last slide. Okay, you are asking investors to invest in your business, but you should also talk about the risk factors that they should know when they invest in your business. Now, what are the points that you need to cover in this slide? Why should investors invest in your startup? 2 or 3 compelling reasons as to why somebody, an investor, should invest. And you should only say this and you should not allow them to talk about it, right? Compelling reasons. Then you will also tell them return on investments, right? So, okay, if you invest 1 million, what can the investor expect in return? How much profits he can expect should be clearly explained. The exit plan. Okay, he gave you money, you have used the money and you have built the business. After 3 years or 5 years, how can the investor leave, right? That has to be clearly explained. The last factor is risk factors. If an investor invests in your business, what are the risks that the investor is taking? So when you say this voluntarily, it helps you build the trust with the investor, right? Do not allow the investor to explain or ask you a question and then you explain. Preemptively, you should only explain the risk factors such that he will understand. The investor will think that you have done your homework properly, and the investor will also think that you are thinking about him and his risk factor, so that leads to trust and that also helps you build a rapport with the investors. So these are the 8 simple slides, 8 slide formula that I propose to all of you. Now let us talk about effective pitching tips. What are some of the things that you need to keep in mind when you are pitching? I will cover 3 important points here. The first one is storytelling. Do not go to a pitching session and say, my product is good and I've solved this problem. Simply because investors get VC and angel investors, they get lot of ideas every single day. Lot of entrepreneurs who go and pitch to them. Instead, tell a story. For example, this Indian startup simply said a story. They said Mr. Raj is very shy, he does not like regularly shopping undergarments. So this is the problem. They told a story about Mr. Raj. Then they say, this is what we are trying to do. They say, this is India's only underwear subscription service. What this company basically do is they believe that people are not always happy shopping undergarments. So they say you download our mobile application or go to our website and you can subscribe to our service, wherein every month we may automatically send you a package of undergarments of your choice at 50% discount. When you say this, a lot of customers are willing to buy because you have told a story. And this looks very persuasive to the investors who is looking to invest in your business. So first point is storytelling. The second point is open up with the customer empowerment statement. What I mean here is, this company called Furlan Co, which rents brand new furniture instead of purchasing it, they say, our customers value experience over owning things. The new generation, young people like you, they would they don't like purchasing an asset. What they look for is they want to enjoy or they want to experience the asset. That is the reason why not many youngsters these days they do not buy furniture, they rent furniture, and they want to change every year, right? And this is the same set of generation which does not buy a car, instead they rent a car for 2-3 years. You can literally in India you can rent a car. I believe this is there in Indonesia as well. You can rent a car and use the car for 2 years and then return it back. So there is a lot of advantage. After 2 years, you can again change the car. But if you have purchased the car, you cannot change cars frequently unless you sell the car at a steep loss, right? So this company comes in and says, rent furniture, very stylish furniture, and you can change the furniture every single year. So that is called opening up with customer empowerment statement. Explain customer adoption. Now here you will explain why customers will use your product. There is this company called Credit in India. What they do is we all have credit cards, right? So when you are using credit cards, you have to make payments on time every month, right? So if you are a customer who is always making payments on time every month, then credit says this is a good financial behavior and this needs to be rewarded. What credit does is credit gives you some coupons, right? They give you some coupons because you have paid your monthly credit card bills on time, and you can use this coupons to buy a lot of things which you want to buy. So that way they are able to scale, they are able to grow very quickly and easily because the customer adoption is very quick. Now in the end, you will have to also explain business model and strategy, right? So this is the business model canvas that you need to use. So what you basically do here is you explain the key partners in your business with whom you are trying to work. You also explain the activities of your business, the resources, the value proposition that you add to the customers, how you contact your customers, how you deliver your product. Is it through app or is it through website or is it through physical stores? Here you will have to mention. Then who are your customers? Put simply in this target customer segment. And then your costs and revenue. You need to clearly explain these things using this simple chart, which will make the investor understand your idea very easily, right? Now we might all know about this very big company which started as a startup called Airbnb, right? Now this is the pitch deck which was used by this very famous company called Airbnb. As I mentioned, the first slide they spoke about the this is the real pitch deck I'm showing you. They spoke about the problem, right? And then the solution this company is offering, the market size, and remember I explained total addressable market, TAM, the calculations they have shown here, right? And then the product, here they are saying you will get luxury rooms at a very affordable price. You can read the review and book it. So here they are talking about business model in the sense, how will this company make money, right? They may charge both the parties. This is basically a network-based market, like network effect. And like I gave you the example of Indian startup called Cred. Here, Airbnb speaks about market adoption, customer adoption, right? Why will customers use your service and how? This is explained in this slide. And competitive advantage. Here, it is nothing but your competition metrics. Why your company's product or service is better than your competitors. That is explained beautifully here with a lot of interesting charts. Last, they have also explained the team, who are the people and what they do and why they do such things. And in the end, the company clearly mentions that they are looking for 12 months financing to reach 80,000 transactions on Airbnb, right? So they have given the explanation as well, right? And they are targeting a revenue of $2 million over next 12 months. This is the pitch deck which they used when they were a startup, right? So financials also they have explained beautifully. I would like to suggest some of the movies to all of you, which I believe will help you understand a lot many things. So these are some of the movies which I strongly recommend or suggest all of you to watch. These movies are available online. You can watch these movies and relate to what we discussed today in the class. So let me now close my session with a small summary. We understood what is pitch. We also understood it is an idea to present your idea. It is an opportunity to present your idea to investors or customers. Always remember, 8 slide formula is very much important. tell a story, a very compelling story. Pain point of the customer is critical. You have to be very clear on what customer problem are you trying to solve. Total addressable market, the calculations you have to be making it very clear. Competition metrics is very much important. Use a simple business model canvas, which I have shown you and explained, and be creative, right? Your pitch deck need not be very serious and need not be very boring. So I would like to show all of you a small video here.
The future of driving. Nothing to be afraid of. Because we're working on safer cars for a safer tomorrow with large-scale data-driven development. At the BMW Autonomous Driving Campus.
So with this, I would like to close my short session. Any questions or queries, I'm always happy to answer. You may use your mobile phone and scan this QR code to share your feedbacks. Once you scan it using your mobile phone, you will get a small link with 5 small questions. You can quickly select the option and give me your feedback so that it helps me understand how the session was. Thank you so much. Any questions, I am happy to answer.
So in fact, there are quite a good number of questions that you have been asking on the chat box.
Okay.
Do you want me to run one by one, sir?
Sir, I'll can I do that? I'll read out the question once and then I'll answer.
Yes, please, sir.
Yeah, for questions, please open. Based on the startup, the first question is by Mr. Ilwan. Forgive me if my pronunciation is not good. So the question here is, based on the startup business in Indonesia, there are so many companies. So what should I do to develop the new company that makes me a successful entrepreneur in Indonesia? Fantastic question. What I suggest is look for problems. Look for customer problems. Look for people around you. What problems are they facing? Right? What challenges do they face in their everyday life? So keep on searching for problems. Do not think about how to build a business. Think about what problem can you solve. If there is a problem, then you have a fantastic business idea. Search for problems. Chase problems is what I try to say. Keep on looking for problems. Look around people, right? You go outside, you observe people, what challenges they are facing. Your family members may be having some issues. You may be having a lot of problems. It could be sourcing vegetable. It could be going from one place to another place, or it could be some of the problems that your classmates in the class or your faculty members may be facing. Look for problems and you will get a great business idea. Once you have a great business idea, automatically you will become a successful entrepreneur. Fantastic question. I believe I have answered that question. Next question is, what should I do if I am a beginner businessman to create the company that makes my company be known and interested to others? This is by Mr. Sudhadeep. The answer is same for the as I narrated for the previous question. Understand customer problems. That's it. Once you have a problem, there is an ecosystem which can help you develop, right? So find out a problem and then see how many people are facing such problems. So once you have a problem, then definitely you will start. I know you are a beginner, but you will start growing your business. So understanding problem and trying to figure out a solution is very much important for you to grow. Okay. The next question. The next question is from Muhammad, Mr. Muhammad. How do we maintain consistency in our business? Because in this business, there are many obstacles that we face. It makes us tired of facing the problems in business. Yes, right. How is the way to make us consistent in business? Okay. See, any entrepreneur for that matter, as far as I have seen, fails multiple times, right? Just because you decide to start a business, that doesn't mean everything will go successful in one shot or one try. It doesn't happen, right? You have to have the mindset of trying the same thing again and again over the time, so that your idea becomes sharper and stronger, right? You cannot give up. You have to try once again, one more time. Because whomever I've spoken to, some of the most successful entrepreneurs, what they have in common is the grit and ability to chase their idea, right? They don't give up. They never give up. They keep on trying. So I guess at times it is tiring. You may feel disappointed, but you should not stop. You should find out innovative ways and solutions to overcome those problems. The next question is by Mr. Antik. His question is, as an entrepreneur, is it true if we have principle of raising small capital and making a huge profit? Is it fair? Absolutely fair. Most successful startups, if you analyze them as case studies, what we understand is most of these startups have raised very small amount of money and they have grown, tremendously. For example, to quote an Indian example, or maybe for an Indonesian startup, Gojek did not get millions of rupees day one. They started with a very small amount, very, very small amount. If you read the case study, you'll understand. In fact, Gojek founders were rejected by many investors, but they did not give up. So today, you see, Gojek is a big company in Indonesia, right? So yes, small capital, bigger profits later. My next question is, as an entrepreneur, we are have to introduce our product or brand. So how is the way to start introducing my business to others, and how is the way to know and the society is interested? Very interesting question. If you are really solving a genuine customer problem, it will automatically become viral. You need not push it. Point one, right? Why do all of us use WhatsApp today? Did WhatsApp had a sales team which came to you and did they try to sell WhatsApp to you? No. We are using it because we like it. We are using it because it is easy and it solves a lot of communication related problems. So that is my first point. The second point is you can do digital marketing to attract customers. So digital marketing is a powerful tool where you can sit in Indonesia and then grow your business worldwide, right? So that is my answer. The next question is, in this pandemic situation, what is the effective way to maintain our business? As we know, there are many companies that have collapsed during the pandemic situation, and how do we get the opportunities to make our business get profits in this situation? Fantastic question once again. A lot of interesting questions, I must say, from this university. The answer is a lot of companies have failed in this pandemic because they did not adapt, right? You need to learn how to quickly adapt and change yourself to the new environment and the new challenges. If you are very rigid and if you say, no, I will do the business the same old way, then you may not survive, right? So how quickly you adjust yourself matters a lot. To give you a simple example, if you can take example of Mr. Ravi himself. He quickly adapts to the changing situation. That is a fine quality of an entrepreneur. Last year, he used to invite all of us to Indonesia and he used to invite our Indonesian friends to India. But then when we understood that that is not possible or it is risky to visit countries, what he immediately proposed is he said, let us do an online webinar, right? That is how you adapt to the changing situation. So you have to change yourself so that you survive and grow. The next question, how to get a big investor in any business? There is no secret formula here. You need to approach many investors. If you are strong, your business idea is potential, investors will come to you. See, I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, but there are some investors where the investors are chasing them, the investors are behind them, right? So if your product or service is very good, you need not search investors. Investors will search you and they will find you, right? So don't worry about it. Go ahead and build a business. The next question is, in this era, there are many startup companies, especially in Indonesia. For example, Shopee, Tokopedia. I like Tokopedia, fantastic business model. And I want to be a great entrepreneur like those companies. So what should I do to create startup business for beginner entrepreneurs, especially by myself? I'm very sure that you will become a great entrepreneur because you already have a right question in your mind. So don't think too much. Proceed, chase your dream. If you want to build a big business, in detail, study the business model of Shopee and Tokopedia. These two companies, if you understand well, then you will automatically become an entrepreneur. So, by the way, I like your dream. The next question is, after we are successful to create our business, what should I do to get my own brand product that I sell? Branding comes slightly later. Initially, do not worry too much about the branding. Think of a solution. Think of what benefits it will your product or service will have to the customers. Focus on the solution, and the branding can be easy slightly later. So do not worry too much about the branding initially. Go for solution. Fine tune your solution. That is my answer. The next question, let me read. There's another interesting question I would ask about: what strategies do we need to compete with the competitors? There are many strategies. I cannot say there is one or two strategies. There are multiple strategies. As you go along, you will figure out what your competitors are doing and how you can respond to their strategy. Right? I will take some interesting questions now. Another question is. Professor Vikram like to say that we need to know how big is the market for a particular business before we start to build the business. But what is the best way to measure how big is the market and to build the business? I've already explained to you that you need to note down the concept called TAM, total addressable market. If you Google TAM formula, you will get how to estimate the total addressable market. There are many versions of formulas. So you can select the one which you think you will understand easily and better. Go with the formula, you will be easily able to calculate the addressable market or market size. Okay, there is another interesting question. So does every startup have to burn money? Is it beneficial or harmful? I don't think every startup should burn money. Of course, you have to spend some good amount of money, but that doesn't mean that you have to spend unnecessarily. That is not advisable. You need to understand why are you spending this money, because the point here is this is investors' money, not your money, right? So they will ask you a lot of questions. They will ask you why are you spending, what is the logic, why you think this will help your business grow. So keeping those things in mind, you may proceed and spend. Okay, I believe I have answered most of the questions. I'm sorry if I have missed any questions due to time constraint. If you still have any questions, you can send me an email. I will be glad to answer your questions.
Okay, Professor, thank you very much for your answers and lectures.
Thank you, sir.
Would you like to say something, Dr. Chandra? Parthiya, or Dr. Chandra, anything you would like to say before we end the session?
Okay.
So, Professor Vikram, can you hear?
Yes, President.
Yeah, okay. So we would like to thank you very much to Professor Vikram. So for this time, you can explain very nice and then about the entrepreneurship, especially about the startup business. So I think the student can so thank you very much for you and Pak Rafi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And so wish all the students all the very best. Happy studying. Take care. Be great. And we look forward for some next venue carry forward the collaboration between UCIC and also SPV.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.